Hey, what's up guys? I'm Zach and you're watching Lighter Juice. Yeah, I got into producing early high school and I was really into like the dubstep trend that was going on. I just kind of started researching those artists like Skrillex and Cascade and all those kind of artists. That kind of got me into it, and it got me researching plugins and looking into like finding the right sound so that it doesn't actually sound unprofessional, even though I thought my stuff was like super lit back in the day when it was just like really not good. Took some time, and then after a while I got the hang of like the programs I was using, and it pretty much equated to everything else after that. So yeah, I guess most challenging part for me for producing would have to do with arrangement for sure, because I'm always trying to make it just more unique and more complex, a little different, and I usually run into the most problems when I'm trying to figure out a bridge, because you've just played this entire thing, people that are listening to you are used to, and then you need to do a little bit of a change, and I find that's the hardest thing for me, making a change that's still similar to the concept that I'm trying to grasp. So I guess as a producer, I'm very weird because I like a bunch of different genres. So I like to experiment with like deep house, house music, techno, trap, pop, afro pop, reggaeton, reggae. I'm always just continuously working in those genres. Right now, specifically for my YouTube channel, I just find there's a big demand for trap beats. So right now it would just be trap stuff, but on the other end, which eventually people that are watching will see, I'm going to be separating my production stuff with a bunch of featured artists on it. It's still going to be released under my name, but it's going to be more of the different genres that I'm dealing with and keep more consistent with other projects that I have for myself specifically. But yeah, definitely a broad range of genres. So a lot of artists I know of that produce their own beats. For songwriter and producer, Marky Basie is a really big inspiration for me for like R&B stuff. Nick Mira and KC Supreme and Taz Taylor that are kind of working on Juice WRLD's new sound and worked on XX Tentacion's album. And then Scott Storch. Scott Storch is awesome. Diplo is amazing. I think Diplo grasps more of the experimental genres, which is cool, but he still keeps it mainstream, but it's still different than everything else, which is why I'm more gravitated towards him, because he's very similar to myself as a producer because he works in so many different genres. It's good to have a person like that to look up to and to look into, having so many of those different skills that he can use for different genres and kind of incorporating them into one thing. So biggest one definitely for sure is Diplo. If I'm really lacking on a concept for a certain type of beat, then I would look specifically into producers and stuff that would have a similar sound. But I really try not to do that and that be my last option. I try to just kind of approach it with a blank slate, and it makes my sound more unique because I'm not really being influenced. I'm only being influenced by myself and what I think is gonna sound right at that moment. Ball in check with No, I'm good, yeah. I just got a little crazy. Fuck, sorry, visual guy hates me. I'm just kidding. If I'm traveling or if I'm kind of on the go, then I would say if I'm making a beat from scratch, I'd say programming is the only way that I can go. It's convenient, it takes up less space. If I'm here, if I'm in my like little home studio and I'm making something from scratch, I would say that playing is the best way to go. It's just about control. So it's like I have more control over singular notes, you know, because I'm playing them physically. I just feel like I'm connecting more to the music. Whatever I'm feeling is coming through me, and I'm translating that into a melody. My preference, and I say most people should try playing, even if you can't. It's about finding what works to you. I mean, if it's more convenient for you to like write it in, and you know, by looking at like the keyboard on the side and by plugging in the notes, that's the right way to go, then I mean, and I definitely say like programming isn't a bad thing because you can actually learn more theory and more scales so that when you actually translate that over into playing, it can help with that too. Like they have scale inputs now that you can put in, so you can see like notes within a scale and you can input them in so that, you know, your notes are already there, you know where you're going to play your stuff, you know what's going to sound good, so you know you're in scale and you just start plugging notes in, which is actually super convenient for programming. Like that is the sickest thing for someone that's like, man, I want to learn beats but I'm so intimidated by like getting behind a keyboard and actually playing and stuff. But when you get into that stuff, I think that's where programming is really, really awesome. Graduated in independent music production. Shout out to IMP37. We are the best. We out here. Sorry, no offense to the other IMPs, but like IMP37 is where it's at. But yeah, I took independent music production. It did focus on mixing and mastering and all that stuff, but it was so much more than that. It encompassed marketing, branding, copyright, legal, drafting contracts, how to negotiate contracts, how to know the intentions of the person that you're working with. You understand what they're offering and you won't get taken advantage of. I was taught alto saxophone by Chris Murphy. He was part of the local horn section for Aretha Franklin and the Temptations and all of those guys. So I think that you're gonna see a lot more of that encompassed in my work. Piano lessons as well, the university here, Western. I learned from a student there. Everybody calm down, calm down. This one's the juiciest one. Everybody wants to know this because they want to use what everybody else is using. They want to get that sound. They want to get the sound of everything that they're hearing. But I think you can't go wrong with whatever you choose, and I think that's the best route to go. So what works for me is not actually going to work for you. It may, but I think that you should really explore your options and try your own plugins and your own softwares and stuff. But I started with a program called Machine. It came with my little like MPC pad, and I couldn't afford anything else. So I learned to work specifically just in Machine. I produced everything up until months ago in it. All the beats that I was doing, just specifically in that one thing. And I learned it like inside and out. It's what I had. And everybody would used to ask me and I'd be like, oh yeah, I didn't want to tell them. I'd be like, oh, I'm using, yeah, like Studio One or FL Studios and stuff. It's like, no, I was doing my mixing and everything in Machine. Which is like, people are gonna be like, that doesn't make any sense because it's not technically supposed to be a digital audio workstation. You and I on that, and When You're Here and everything, all those type of songs on it. And now I got Logic, and Logic is amazing. I love mixing in it and I love like arranging in it, but I found that there were certain things about it that I was missing, and that's where I integrated Machine within Logic. So I use Machine and Logic encompassed together as a whole, and that to me is like a powerhouse. Yeah, Serum is what I use a lot for making my own sounds. It gives me a really broad range of like making my own unique sounds. You should really just go out and look for a plugin that you find can do what you need it to do, has the sounds that you want it. Even if you're just using presets, that's totally cool, which are sounds that come within the plugin. Just go explore and find a way to adapt your sound. You might do something that other people will want to copy. So just saying, that's my suggestion. I think that's the best thing to do. You can use what everybody else is using, but I think it's going to be cool if you're using something that no one else is using, because it's going to be very unique and it's going to just add to your own unique sound, which is what you want to do. The biggest driving force behind you getting out content and you doing things and you improving is always, it's going to be yourself. Because there's going to be things that people don't like, and there's going to be things that people do like, and you're always going to want them to like it, but unfortunately not everybody's going to like it, and you are going to get a lot of no's, and you're going to get a lot of like, you know, maybe you shouldn't do this, and you might hear people even be like, hey, I'm pursuing a career as a producer, and they're like, ooh, that's a hard thing. But you also need to be practical too, and you need to find multiple ways to work towards your brand and to encompass that with your goal of being a producer, so that you can, you know, make a living off what you're doing. You know, I just view it as any other career in the sense that I love what I do. You should only be getting into this if you love what you're doing. I don't think there should be any driving force other than that, because if you go in it for fame, you are never gonna get to where you wanna be. You're never gonna be famous enough. You're never gonna make enough money if you're doing it for that too. You're gonna look at the people that you look up to as a producer, and you're gonna see them and you're gonna be like, I wanna be where they're at, and they might not even be where they're at. Yet you're looking at them, they're making money, they're doing what they wanna do in their career, but everybody has different goals. I think the foundation of it though is because you love it. That should be the driving force of this industry, because we need to have a lot of people in it who love their career path, and a lot of creative people, because it's really gonna push the industry forward, and to not get wrapped up in people that are in it for just fame or money or anything like that. what my parents would think about this. I think when they see their kid doing something that you love, that's an even bigger payout to them than any amount of money you could ever give them. Do it because you love it. Just keep making music no matter what, and never stop. The day that you stop, the next day after that could have been the day that something happened. And, you know, be practical. You know, I know a lot of people that do this that are amazing, and they just think stuff is gonna happen because they're talented. And unfortunately, talent plays a very small role in this industry. It's all about the work ethic. I mean, the talent has to be there, but you need to just keep looking for opportunities and keep doing things and never stop working. So that's my advice. Once I get the melody right and I get all that down, the next step I always take is I always start with hi-hats, because it's more of a melodic accent now to beats. And I find that, like, if your hi-hats are right and your melody's right, and then maybe after that the next thing would be like 808s. Once you get that bumping, then everything after that is smooth sailing. Like, I'll make a pattern and I'll make a bunch of like varying patterns to switch it up. I'll export the audio into Logic and I'll arrange it in Logic. Then I'll mix in Logic. I'll output the file, make a new project, do little EQ and compression, do my own mastering, and then yeah. I still am fairly new to that producing community, but it's been amazing. I met like a bunch of cool people, and everybody's kind of interacting and commenting on each other's videos. It's funny because you even see them comment on the bigger names, so it's like you're noticing these up and coming smaller producers commenting on the bigger producers' names, and then they're networking with each other. And it's kind of cool just to be brought into that, and everybody's so open and supportive within the producing community. If you're producing beats and doing stuff like that, you should definitely look into the online community and kind of network that way. I got to collaborate with an amazing producer from West Chicago called That's Phantom, a crazy producer as well from France called Juicy Beats. And all of these producers are like so crazy at what they do. I'm just going to continue, you know, releasing, interacting with them, and hopefully collaborating and supporting one another, because I mean, we're all in it for the same reasons. And I think it's genuine when you meet producers, because they all just love making music at the end of the day. Thank you guys for checking out Lighter Juice and checking out my interview. My socials are everything / iamzxch, ZXCH. And when I say I am, everybody gets it messed up and they go I am with an apostrophe, but it's literally all together iamzxch. And that's / on everything: Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud. My website's www.iamzxch.com. So it's pretty easy to find me. I got a lot of crazy stuff coming as a producer. I got more collaborations on the go for YouTube. I'm growing every day. I'm noticing every day. I post beats every week, so you can always look out for that. And I do a bunch of different beats. You guys can suggest stuff to me if you want to like comment on my videos and you're like, I want to see more of this. London's here and we out here. It's not just about Toronto. It's not just about the bigger cities. Like I said, this is where it starts, and we coming for you. So peace.